Audio article by the Common Constitutionalist entitled, "Was It Abuse That Killed a Marine Recruit?" Basic training or boot camp in the military is a unique and enlightening experience. It can be rigorous both physically and mentally depending on your mindset, maturity level, and preparation. Some fare better than others, and in my recollection, some don't fare at all. As I recall, boot was more of an exercise in mental toughness than it was physical. I was quick to discover the purpose of the drill instructor was to break down the recruit's individuality or autonomy and replace it with a sense of unit cohesion, thinking as a group and following orders without question. In the heat of a battle, these are the things that will keep them alive. During training, the recruit was constantly badgered by the drill instructors, called any number of pejoratives, and forced to perform the most menial tasks. Again, this was, as I saw it, a test of mental toughness. Through this process, one could see the cream rise to the top, while others were less capable of dealing with the abuse. To an observer, this may seem harsh, but it worked. But that was many moons ago, when we weren't so concerned with the precious feelings of our recruits. As I stated, the process of breaking down and building a soldier, sailor, or marine is sometimes not a pretty one. It's kind of like making sausage. The finished product is good, but you don't want to see how it's made. Yet occasionally something tragic happens that shines a light on the process, and such it was on March 18th of this year as a Marine recruit killed himself during the first week of boot camp at the Marine Corps Recruit Depot, Parris Island, South Carolina. Of all branches, Marine basic training is the toughest, but for one recruit, Raheel Siddiqui, it was particularly tough and ended in his suicide. It began on March 13th when the recruit, prior to his first day of training, threatened to kill himself. He described a plan to jump out of a squad bay window, investigators claimed, but he later recanted and was allowed to remain in training. That's not a very good start and a red flag in my book. He was obviously not prepared for what was to come. During the investigation, it was found that his drill instructors referred to him as a terrorist, presumably in reference to his Muslim background. One drill instructor asked the recruit if he needed his turban, officials said. Now, one might think that this is totally out of line and insensitive, yet they also found that instructors referred to one recruit born in Russia as the Russian and the cosmonaut, and asked him if he was a communist spy. And this is what happened, folks. Guys are singled out from time to time. I've seen it, I've experienced it firsthand. And what you do, you suck it up and you move forward. That's what you do. These guys are being trained to be Marines, not Girl Scouts. Military.com reported that in Siddiqui's unit, recruits were subjected to unauthorized incentive training in which they would lift footlockers, day packs, and other heavy items and clean the squad bay in uncomfortable positions using small scrub brushes for hours. Drill instructors would push and shove recruits and use Marine Corps martial arts program training as an opportunity to pit recruits against each other, sometimes in physically unfair matchups. Well, boo freaking who? Having to lift heavy object and scrub toilets with a toothbrush? Whoop-de-doo. And yes, having to fight someone bigger and stronger than you is unfair, because it'll never happen in an actual operation or deployment. Right. Drill instructors told investigators that recruits would occasionally fake injury, illness, or even tell of suicidal thoughts to be excused from training. So what were the drill instructors supposed to do? Capitulate to every whiner in the squad? Their job is that of a drill instructor, not a nursemaid or psychologist. On March 18, Siddiqui asked to go to medical, saying he was coughing up blood overnight and was in pain. Instead, one of the drill instructors told him to do get-backs, which are sprints from one end of the squad bay to the other. Siddiqui began to cry and then collapsed on the floor, holding his throat. However, it was never determined if the recruit actually passed out or was just faking. In an effort to wake him, the drill instructor slapped Siddiqui on the face hard enough to echo through the squad bay. The recruit became alert, ran out of the squad bay, and vaulted over the stair railing, sustaining severe injuries in the fall. He later died from those injuries sustained from the jump. It's obvious this kid had a screw loose. He should have been walked out the front gate 5 days earlier when he first said he was contemplating suicide. But he recanted that claim, and he wished to remain in the program, as it were. In all, 20 Marines have been sidelined, facing courts-martial and other charges from this incident. The report did find evidence that some drill instructors made a practice of exploiting recruits' ethnicities as a way to harass them. Is this not the U.S. Marines? Other than special operators, they are the toughest men in our or any military. I'm sorry for the deaths of this recruit or any recruit, but this is an exception. If anything, the fault should lay at the feet of those who originally evaluated this young man upon his first suicidal claim, not the drill instructors. Their sole job is to stretch the recruits to their physical and mental limits, thus preparing them for war, which is surely to be worse than anything a drill instructor will throw at them. Thanks for listening.